Hello and welcome to Shannon Gardens. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So in this week's video, I wanted to bring you guys along with me on a recent trip that I made to Lowe's Garden Center to check out what they've got coming in for the springtime and wanted to share that with you guys. So with that, let's get to it. I arrived at my local Lowe's Garden Center here in Georgia and first came across this Queen Originals Lorraine Kalanchoe in a 1-quart size for $6.48. This is marked as a full sun annual that's ideal as a container plant with a blooming period of spring through fall. It was noted as hardy to 40 degrees Fahrenheit and came in beautiful bright colors of yellow, orange, pink, and red. Next was another Kalanchoe, which is the Queen More Flowers Augusta Kalanchoe for $8.48. This came in pink and bright yellow blooms that almost resembled small roses in appearance, and they are also noted for spring through fall blooming. There is Painted Fuchsia Dianthus, which is noted as a full sun perennial for $13.48. This blooms early summer and again in early fall and is marked as hardy in zones 4 through 9. The Dianthus attracts bees and butterflies, is heat and humidity tolerant, and is deer resistant. I came across the Silver Mound Artemisia, which is a full sun perennial that grows to 4 inches in height and 10 inches wide. I think this is a really nice perennial that would add interest to a garden with the beautiful, soft, lacy silver foliage. Next is the Gouache Stonecrop, which is a low-maintenance ground cover. The leaves are really beautiful to me with the bronze red and green coloration. This plant is marked as water-wise and noted to flower in the summer. The songbird Bluebird Coline was very striking to me with its beautiful flowers. This is noted for part sun to sun and hardy in zones 3 through 9. It attracts bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds and is also noted as rabbit resistant. They also had Spring Magic Yellow Columbine that was noted for part sun as well. They have pre-planted full sun hanging pots for $24.98 with a beautiful combination of Calibrachoa, Petunias, and Verbena, which I thought were very striking and would attract pollinators as well. The Snow Surfer Candy Tuft is a full sun easy care perennial. They are noted to bloom spring and summer, and this low growing perennial would be good as a ground cover or in a container. It is noted as hardy in zones 4 through 8. The Chattahoochee Flocks is a woodland phlox that grows to 18 inches in height and 36 inches wide. This is a beautiful part sun perennial with a lovely lavender blue coloration that blooms in late spring. Next is this really pretty Ballerina Red Armeria, which is an evergreen perennial that blooms mid to late spring and then sporadically reblooming in summer and early fall. It's noted as very easy to grow, is deer resistant, and attracts bees and butterflies. Next is the Homestead Verbina, which is a trailing full sun perennial. This is a perennial I have in my garden and it's actually beginning to bloom now. It's evergreen in zones 7 through 10 and attracts butterflies. They have the Easy Wave Petunia, which is a full sun to part shade trailing annual for $6.48. It blooms spring through fall and attracts hummingbirds and butterflies. They have a couple of varieties of azaleas on sale for $5.98 without an end date, but they were marked as supplies last. The first I came across was the spring blooming Red Ruffles azalea, and then I came to the spring blooming Joanna azalea with this beautiful color bloom. Next is the Grace Ward Lithodora, which is a full sun perennial for $7.98. It's noted as a full sun perennial, but I did read that it performs best with some shade in extremely hot areas. This blooms in summer and is hardy in zones 6 through 9. They have 1-gallon blueberries for $12.98, 1-gallon grapes for $13.98, Celeste fig trees for $32.98, and brown turkey fig trees for $32.98. They have Bonnie herb plants that are $5.78, various Bonnie tomato plants that were mostly marked as $4.98, and Bonnie pepper plants that were marked as $4.98 as well. This is a beautiful bicolor full sun annual called the Sonetti Paracalis, which is a spring blooming annual that comes in purple and white and pink and white varieties marked at $12.98 each. This bicolored petunia is called the Amore Queen of Hearts petunia and is a full sun annual marked at $8.48. This unique petunia is noted as a heavy bloomer blooming from spring to fall and growing 8 to 12 inches high and 12 to 24 inches wide. The flower of this next perennial really caught my eye. It's called the Summer Sun Calil and is marked as a part sun perennial that blooms in summer and grows 12 to 18 inches high and wide. In addition to the striking color, I also thought that the speckled leaves were really unique and added even more interest to the plant. They also had an equally stunning morning sun variety that is noted to attract pollinators and is deer and rabbit resistant. Unfortunately, these weren't blooming yet, but I thought they were definitely worth mentioning. We first have the tiny rocket Asiatic lily, which is a full-to-part sun perennial that blooms in summer, as well as the tiny nugget Asiatic lily. Both are noted for extreme cold hardiness and grow 14 to 16 inches high and 12 to 14 inches wide for the tiny rocket variety and 10 to 12 inches wide for the tiny nugget variety. I came across a few different Encore Azaleas that were starting to bloom. First is the Autumn Carnation 1-gallon Encore Azalea for $14.98. It blooms spring through fall and grows 4.5 feet high to 4 feet wide and is hardy in zones 6 through 10. Next is the Autumn Empress Encore Azalea that grows 4 feet high and 3 feet wide and prefers light shade to full sun. Then we have the Autumn Fire Encore Azalea, which is more of a dwarf variety, growing 2.5 feet high and 3 feet wide. This one has semi-double, brilliant red blooms that were absolutely beautiful. We also have Formosa azaleas, which are 1998 and are noted for part sun. They grow to 8 feet high and 6 feet wide and were marked as cold hardiness of 20 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit. They are noted to bloom in early spring and attract both butterflies and hummingbirds. This unique plant is called Paul's Gold Cyprus and is noted for full sun to part shade and grows 5 feet high and 6 feet wide with cascading golden evergreen foliage. It's described as low maintenance, heat tolerant, and is hardy in USDA zones 5 through 8. They have a few different varieties of deciduous trees that I wanted to mention. First is the pink flowering dogwood for $58 that grows to 25 feet high and 15 feet wide. Then we have the Fireglow Japanese maple for $175 that grows to 10 feet high and 12 feet wide. And then the Bloodgood Japanese maple, which I personally have in my landscape and absolutely love. This one's marked at $99.98 and grows to 15 feet high and 20 feet wide. They have fruiting trees like this red delicious apple tree for $49.98, and then they also had pink lady apple trees for $32.98. They have the beautiful Amethyst Falls American Wisteria for $69. This is marked as full to part sun and blooms in late spring, repeating lightly in the summer. It's marked as hardy in USDA zones 5 through 9 and grows to 8 to 10 feet long, but over time may reach 30 feet. There's the Spring Bouquet Viburnum, which is a full to part sun evergreen shrub that's marked at $69. It's lightly fragrant with pink and white flowers in the spring and grows to 4 to 6 feet tall and wide. It's hardy in USDA zones 7 through 11, and I have a video about Viburnum that I'll link in the description if you'd like to learn more. I next came across their roses, starting with the double knockout roses, which bloom from spring to frost and are hardy in USDA zones 5 through 11. These are roses noted for full sun and grow 3 to 4 feet high and wide, with the 2-gallon size priced at $25.98. Next were the coral knockout roses that begin with a brick orange color, fading to a beautiful coral color. These grow to 4.5 feet high and wide. The drift roses are some of my favorites and are more of a ground cover rose that are also low maintenance. They bloom spring through frost, are disease resistant and drought tolerant. This is the apricot variety here for $25.98. They also have the pink drift roses that are hardy in zones 4 through 11 and grow 1.5 feet high and 3 feet wide and bloom spring to frost as well. Duet Roses contain 2 rose varieties in one plant. These are marked at $24.98 each and grow 5 to 6 feet high and 3 to 4 feet wide. They had a few different variety options, but unfortunately only one flower variety was blooming at the time. They have Carolina Sapphire Cypress, which is a favorite of mine and one I have in my landscape as well. They are marked as a full sun screening evergreen that grows to 35 feet high and 20 feet wide. I've really enjoyed having these in my landscape with the pretty silver blue-green foliage coloration, as well as it providing a great habitat for my more brush-loving birds like brown thrashers. They have Blue Point junipers in a 2¼ gallon size for $24.98. These are noted to grow 10 to 15 feet high and 5 to 7 feet wide. And then the green giant abravite in a 2½ quart size for $9.98 that grows to 30 feet high and 15 feet wide. Next is the purple showers rulia or Mexican petunia and is a plant that I have in my landscape as well. This is noted for full sun and blooms in the summer and fall, growing to 3 feet high and 2 feet wide. I have a video about Mexican petunias that I'll link in my description if you're interested in learning a bit more about these plants. The star jasmine is a full sun perennial vine that blooms in the summer. It grows 3 to 6 feet high and wide. They have pretty little star-shaped blooms that produce a wonderful scent. I have had star jasmine planted in the past and found it easy to care for, as well as being able to cut and root it in other parts of my garden. Last are the French marigolds, which are a mainstay in my summer gardening. These hardy full sun annuals grow to 8 to 12 inches tall and 6 to 8 inches wide and bloom spring through fall. They are deer resistant, drought tolerant, and attract pollinators. The 1 pint size is marked at $1.98 each. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really enjoyed visiting Lowe's Garden Center and checking out what they had in stock at the beginning of spring. So thank you guys so much again. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, happy gardening and goodbye.